Hi, this is Greg Gelfie. Welcome to the Fit in the Middle Hangout. Fit in the Middle is dedicated to weight loss, fitness, and nutrition. We have an online weight loss planner that you can find on our website through an iPhone or Android app. My name is Greg Gelfie. I am founder of Fit in the Middle. I'm a weight loss coach, certified personal trainer, and I'm author of a book on obesity and metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome, if you don't know, is a host of maladies such as high blood pressure, high blood glucose, which is a precursor to diabetes, and other maladies that revolve around central obesity or visceral fat, which is fat you find right here. And it is the main reason why I got into this business. Well, today we have a great show. We're going to talk about motivation ideas. And we're going to really get specific with motivation ideas. We're going to talk about what you do after 2 or 3 weeks of losing weight. Everything's going well, and then suddenly the weight loss stops. You plateau. You may even start to gain the weight back. At this point, things get a little bit frustrating, especially if you're on some of these diets, such as an Atkins diet that advocates very low carbs. The first week of those types of diets, you lose a lot of water weight along with regular weight. So it looks great. You lost 5 to 7 pounds. Maybe you lose the same amount the next week. Pretty soon the water either starts to increase a little bit or at least stabilizes. The weight doesn't drop nearly as fast. And that goal weight that you thought you wanted to reach in 12 weeks, thought you might reach in 8 weeks, suddenly looks like it's going to be further and further in the distance. You get very frustrated, you get discouraged, and those behaviors and habits that you started to form, the positive ones, you start thinking, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth this time. So what we're going to do is talk about motivation ideas at this point in your weight loss effort. Certainly most of these ideas you can use at any time, but that's kind of the focus of this hangout. Just remember, if you're watching this live and you're doing it on the Hangout event, you can ask questions or make comments right below me. I'm pointing our little comment area. You can ask questions there, or you can make comments, and hopefully I see them and we can talk about them later in the show. But before I get to that, I'd like to introduce our panel member. Cindy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a mother of 2 children, a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old, who keep me quite busy. But I am here just to learn a little bit more and try to find out how to continue with my weight loss journey and staying fit.
Thank you, Cindy. Well, let's start out with our motivation tips. We'll go with number 1. The first one is pretty simple. Find a partner, find an advocate. Find either a friend, a coworker, or even just someone who you think of as a mentor, even maybe your spouse, to help you along your journey. You can ask them to offer encouragement. They might be someone you start exercising with, or someone who looks at different foods and can help you eat a little better or offer cooking tips. But what you really want is someone who's going to encourage and not discourage you. You want someone who's going to lead you on the path to success and not sort of get in the way. You don't want someone who's going to hinder your efforts. And with that in mind, you need to choose that partner pretty wisely, because certainly some of your friends and loved ones aren't always going to be on your side in this process. Some of them, you're going to change behaviors, and some of them aren't going to really appreciate it. So you got to make sure you have someone who's a pretty positive person, and when you just say, hey, I want to go get a double cheeseburger, large fries, and a Coke today, I really am feeling down, they don't say, hey, that sounds like a great idea, why don't we go there right now? But someone who says, let's think this over and maybe come up with a different plan. The second motivation idea is reassess your goals. You have an overall goal that you set at the beginning, which may be to lose 25 pounds in 12 weeks or 20 pounds. Perhaps you wanted to reach your college weight, or you wanted to reach some weight that your doctor said you needed to get to. As the first 2 or 3 weeks went along, you thought, I'm going to reach this goal weight before I wanted to. But as things slow down, you realize it may be further down the road. What I like to tell people is, when this happens, what you want to do is set short-term goals. Instead of having 4-week goals, 6-week goals, have 1-week goals to lose 1 or 2 pounds. Instead of having even a goal of weight loss, have an activity goal. Say to yourself, in the next week, I'm going to exercise 5 days, 30 minutes or more. Or in the next day, I'm going to eat healthy foods. I'm going to eat 4 or 5 healthy meals. I'm going to plan my meals. And I'm going to eat those meals. The key to that is to set goals that are reachable, that are working towards your long-term goal, where you can get some real success, that you can say to yourself, I made that goal. So you don't want to make it too difficult and too far out. You want to make something that you can reach that gears you towards your longer-term goal. The third one is not quite like the first one. It's just join a group. Find people who are like-minded. And I wanted to bring Cindy back into this because when she had her first child, she actually started a group and a website called meetup.com. And meetup.com has great attributes in finding like-minded people in your community. So Cindy, if you don't mind, can you just describe what you did when you started your group and kind of what meetup.com does?
Sure. Hello again. When I had my daughter, it was about 2 weeks after she was born, I got quite bored and I decided to open a mother's group for moms to kind of meet together and go over our same day-to-day scenarios, like raising children and raising our kids together and going and doing outings and such. So meetup.com was a way for me to be able to do that. I was able to post my group and people were able to join. And some of those groups that Greg is speaking of, you can pay to join the groups, or some of them are free, and they post activities or meetups at their convenience and on their schedule. So for our group, what I was able to do is, talk to different moms, and we kind of scheduled things that would work out for us, like play dates and outings and such. But the ones I believe that would help out best in the fitness community, there's running groups that I've noticed out there, and overall fitness groups. There's even, for myself, moms groups that revolve around children and getting fit with children, such as like stroller strides and stuff like that.
Thanks, Cindy. One of the things I like about groups is that it offers a variety of people, that some of them you may get along with, some of them you can relate to, and others you may not, but you'll certainly should be able to find people who are on your same path, or at least trying to get towards that. And one thing I would encourage you to do is to find what I call the optimists, or the people who are into the group for the right reasons, and they get as much out of that group as they can. And I would probably try to stay away from what I call the backbenchers, or the two Muppet judges in the back who really mostly just complained about things as opposed to getting the most out of it. And the third I would say is try not to be one of those Muppets. The final motivational idea is indulge. There's a couple different kind of thoughts on diets. Some people encourage an all or nothing approach. They encourage you to say you're either on the diet, you're either doing things right, you're eating healthy, exercising, or you're not. And my biggest problem with that is we are all infallible. We all have occasions where we don't meet our expectations. And instead of getting discouraged and giving up in those moments, I'd rather you say, I'm going to have those moments. I'm not going to even call them mistakes. I'm going to say that's part of what I'm doing. And I'm going to eat foods that probably aren't as healthy. What I'm going to do is just eat less of them. Instead of eating the full slice of pie, I may eat a quarter slice or a half a slice. And I'd like you to eat it slower. Just slow down when you're eating foods that are, again, not as healthy. Slow down, enjoy them. Eat slow, and then when you're done with whatever that portion is, stop. Wait a little bit, because the chances are it's going to be enough. It's going to satisfy your needs without overindulging. And during this, I want you to think portion control. I want you to think, I don't need to have as much as I used to eat. I can eat a lot less and still enjoy it. That's the 4 ideas I have with regard to motivational ideas. The biggest thing to take from this is you don't want to get so discouraged during your process that you stop your healthy habits and behaviors that you're developing. And really, that's the biggest thing you're doing during a weight loss regimen, is you're trying to develop healthier habits. You're trying to develop exercise habits that you can continue forward. And if you're not losing weight, if you're still exercising and eating healthier, you are healthier. And you need to not get discouraged because the scale is telling you something that you don't like. So I'm going to open it back up to our panel of 1, to Cindy, and see if she had any questions or comments.
Hello. Hello. I do have one question in regards to the encouragement from others and back to the group. Sometimes I have found that one person can achieve their goals a little bit faster than the other person, and the one-on-one encouragement doesn't work as well, especially in the women's side of thing. I don't know really necessarily how that works for men, but would you do both the group and the one-on-one encouragement, or in some of those things would you just go with the group encouragement?
I would go with both. I mean, in fact, there's a chance when you join a group you'll find one person who's really on the same page with you, and in that respect, that you guys need to focus together. There's a lot that can be said when you're on a team, even if it's just a team of 2. There's a lot you guys can do together that would be more difficult to do individually. So you may find your partner through the group, but if you don't, you can have them 2 separate people. One can be the group, and one can be just a person who's you can use as a crutch, and you can use as an advocate, and you can use as a positive influence. So I would say do both if you can.
Okay. And recently, I've noticed that you can go and do these like 30-day challenges or a couple month challenges at a time in different aspects of fitness and weight loss and health. And that's another thing that interests me. Would you open those up to a group that you're with, even if it's run by somebody else, or would you just kind of do those things on your own?
Are you talking about, what, can you be more specific on, you're talking about fitness classes?
No. Like sometimes on the internet you can see like challenges to, tone your legs in 30 days, or your abs or your arms, or lose a certain amount of weight in 30 days or something that's achievable. But would you, if I was doing that along with the stuff I'm doing with a group, or say a one-on-one partner, would you open that up to a group setting if it's something you're doing on your own?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I think that the more active you can be and the more activity you can encourage in others, the more likely you are to stay with whatever program you're doing. So definitely. We have a question from Lonnie Latti. See if I can put that on here. So what about foods that inspire cravings? And what foods, and about foods that focus on willpower? The cravings and willpower types of foods, which I was talking about, indulge, I'm sure it's referring to that. Those are foods that are going to be specific to you individually, and if that's a type of food that you can't eat without eating more of it, I would tell you to avoid that food. if it's a type of food where you can't just have one bite, kind of like a Cheez-It, I would say in that situation, you probably do not want to have that food around. Um, and we can go into what foods you have in your, at home, but if it's a food that you can not eat a little of, I would certainly encourage you not to eat any of it in that situation. But generally, I'd say, you can try it and see if it's something you can eat very little of, or you can eat, a smaller portion of. And if it's not something that you can do, willpower is only so strong. And I would tell you that it's not strong enough if that's most of the time. Thanks, Lonnie.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Reading in one of your blogs, you'd mentioned that sleep was very important in weight loss and fitness. And a mom of two, I don't get a lot of sleep at night when it comes to my kids. One's a fairly bad sleeper. But how important is that? And somebody like me, would I just put those goals off until I eventually get sleep? Or how does one maybe even work around that?
When you have young children, sleep is just not going to happen the way you'd like to. So what I would probably tell you is to change your goals. If your goal was to get back to whatever weight in 3 months or 6 months, I tell you make it 9 months. Lack of sleep makes it very difficult to stay healthier and to lose weight. I mean, for a couple of reasons. For one, you're just awake more, so you have more time to eat. You're going to be hungrier. And second, certainly your ability to eat foods that are unhealthy are going to be, you're going to have less willpower, for lack of a better word, but it's going to be more difficult to stay focused. So rather than just get discouraged and give up, what I would tell you is to realize you're not going to be able to sleep as much as you would like, and that because of that, you probably want to readjust your goals and really just focus on staying healthier, eating healthier, and exercising when you can, rather than reaching some semi-arbitrary weight goal. And if that's all the questions, I had one other question that someone had sent in, which is, I exercise and eat healthy, but don't seem to lose any weight. What am I doing wrong? And I would just tell you there's a good chance you're not doing anything wrong. And if you're exercising and eating healthy, really that's kind of the goal. You're going to be healthier. And if you're not losing weight, eventually, if you are eating healthier and exercising, you probably will. But aside from aesthetics, what you really want to be is healthier. And if you're doing those two things, you are being healthier. But if you really, really want to lose weight, I'd probably tell you to keep a journal of what you're eating. Write it down, be very specific, and relook at it, because the chances are you're eating more than you think you're eating. Several studies show that. And there's also a chance that your metabolism isn't what the books say it is. It might be a little slower. One other question I had was, does my app or weight loss have a journal? And it does have a journal. It's not a food. I do tell you to track certain foods. However, I do have a journal in the sense of write down how you're doing, what you're doing, how you're feeling after a meal. And through that, I also offer some encouragement and different ideas. And so you could write down what you're eating, but I do not have a specific, here's everything I want you to eat journal, because I'd rather you focus in on a few key items that I think make a difference between being healthier and losing weight and not. Well, thank you very much for watching Fit in the Middle. As I said at the beginning, I have a weight loss app and website. I also do some weight loss coaching, and I encourage you to contact me any way you wish. And again, thanks for coming to my Hangout.
Thank you.